All right, boys, we have made it. Selection Sunday. It's the best day of the year. Tainted a little bit this year without Greg Gumbel. Shout out to the legend. One of my favorite people. Yeah, no, we're not going to talk about that, but shout out Greg Gumbel. Go
And
like
Colton.
and subscribe. Yeah, shout out Colton first on the like and subscribe. Brackets here. We have a bracket. It's our favorite day. We finally know the route that the Hawks have to get through to make a Final Four. So I guess let's just start there. I think let's start with our little – we can start with Sanford, but I'm looking at that first pod, that group of four. I think anything could happen there. I think McNeese State is a scary 12. I think, AB, you said they were the scariest 12 in your mind. Gonzaga, to me, is always going to be scary. I don't know how to feel about that, so I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that. And then Sanford sounds like if you're drawing up a 13 seed to play a style Kansas doesn't love, it's Sanford. So that's pretty crazy. I guess AB, B-turn, whoever wants to take it away, go ahead and give me your initial thoughts.
Yeah, I think it was a good point on that pot of four. That it was definitely interesting just because those are like the 12s and 13s that everyone was talking about and teams that people didn't want to see. So, yeah, Sanford, obviously, they play super quick. They're 14th, I think, in adjusted tempo, and they shoot. They got 4 or 5 guys that shoot it above 40% from three. I know a couple of those guys don't really shoot a ton of threes. Like, it's like 1 or 2 threes a game. So, but, yeah, that kind of scares me. I know Palm and Lenardi had them as a 12. So it's kind of disappointing they were 13. But yeah, McNeese, obviously Seth Davis, by the way, loves picking against Kansas in the tournament, but always. He was very high on McNeese. Gonzaga, I still think they got 2 pretty good bigs. They got Nimhard. They're obviously well coached. So yeah, I guess I would have taken Purdue as our one if I had to pick, really, even over UNC. So I'm not mad about that. I'm not sure if we'll even have to deal with Purdue, but if I had to pick a one, I would take Purdue, I think.
Yeah, for sure. AB, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, pretty similar. It's a tough first pod, but at the end of the day, I'm thrilled with the region as a whole. I really am. And I've already talked myself into a deep run. I already hate myself for it. We don't need to get into that right now. But, boys, we've been saying it all year. We can't trust Purdue to go on a long run. We just can't. They don't do it. Gonzaga, sure. I think the one thing that bothered me was playing in Salt Lake City against Gonzaga. It feels a little home court advantage for them. But I don't know. We're talking about – I agree Sanford's good. I agree they're not a great matchup. I also agree they lost to Purdue by 50 points earlier this year. So and then blind resume season. The last time we were a 4 seed and played in the first round against a team that I was worried about as a 13 that shot the 3 really well and had a really efficient offense, played semi-up-tempo. You know who it was? Northeastern. Beat them by 400 points. So
your favorite team.
Exactly. So we're getting Bill with a week to prep. We're getting Hunter and Kevin back with 2 weeks off at least ish, just about. Overall, I feel thrilled that this is the region we wound up in, to be honest.
My first thought about that pot of 4 was Purdue losing 3 straight years to double-digit seeds, and I could absolutely see one of McNeese or Sanford make a run to the Sweet 16, and Edie and the boys would have to play one of those teams. But, like AB said, if I had to pick a 2, it would have been Tennessee because obviously you're not getting Iowa State. And if I would have had to pick a 1, I would take them. Obviously, you wouldn't play the 2 until the Elite 8 or the 1 until the Sweet 16. I guess would you guys still be kind of celebrating a Sweet 16 appearance? Or I guess I'll ask, like, what confidence level or percentage level you have of them making the Sweet 16?
I think Gonzaga or McNeese, either way. Gonzaga scares me, like AB said. They are playing in Salt Lake. That'll be a tough draw if we get them there. But also Gonzaga's like 15th on KenPom. And I think Gonzaga is a team that struggled top 10 offense, team that struggled a little bit early in the year, but it feels like they've looked better. I don't know. I don't know a ton about Gonzaga, but Gonzaga is just a name you see, and it's slightly terrifying all the time. They've got dudes. They've got a great coach. I think, though, I don't know. I don't know enough about McNeese State, but it feels like if McNeese State beats Gonzaga, we would be in trouble versus McNeese State, which is like funny to say, but it just feels like if there's a team that's gonna make that Cinderella run, they're the one that's getting all the hype. Now they've also won 30 games.
The teams, the 12 seeds that always get the most hypes are always the ones that lose right away.
McNeese?
McNeese.
They're not McNeese State. McNeese.
I thought it was McNeese State for a while at least. Well, I gotta look into this bad boy.
Yeah.
Now. You guys you talk your way through it. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I mean, Gonzaga still obviously has some studs, Nimhard, Nolan Hickman. They got two pretty good bigs. Graham Ike, I think we were interested in the portal. And then they still have Ryan's favorite player, Anton Watson, who I think he can stretch it out and shoot a little bit. So I think Nimhard and Hickman, pretty good guards. They can shoot it. Nimhard's obviously a really good facilitator, but it looks like they're not crazy deep, kind of like us. I'm just looking at the West Coast title game against St. Mary's where they lost. They only played two guys off the bench and had 4 points. So I guess a little similar to us depth-wise. I love talking about future matchups. That's the best part about this.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously Samford, but so Gonzaga would be tough in Salt Lake City, but I wonder what that spread might be out. I don't know if you guys saw my tweet, but I looked at DraftKings and KU was an 8.5 point favorite against Samford to open.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know. I don't remember what we were against, like a Northeastern, as you said, AB, but feels like we were more than 8.5 point favorites against Northeastern. So
I'm looking it up now.
I don't know. Hearing that they full court press, they play really, really fast, they launch threes. It's obviously a recipe to get upset, but it's also a recipe to, if they don't, like if we are well prepared and we handle the pressure and they miss shots, we could win by 30. So what's up?
We were only a 6.5 point favorite against Northeastern.
Gonzaga -6 on DraftKings, by the way. It does just say McNeese, so maybe it is just McNeese.
Everything else I looked up was McNeese State, though.
Yeah, this is like Mandela effect, and it's like the Bernstein Bears or whatever. How do you spell that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously usually when we play like mid majors, I immediately just go to like November on their schedule to see what good teams they played, and they
didn't
played
play any other than Purdue.
Yeah, and Purdue smoked them, so that gives me, I guess, a little confidence. But just KU from like a tempo standpoint and keeping up offensively obviously worries me. And we're a little banged up, so I'm hoping we can run with them. Just having a tough time thinking who's going to be our go-to scorer. I know that sounds crazy because we've had two pretty much all year long, but Kevin's going through a little slump. He's banged up. Hunter, it just worries me because Bill was talking about him having zero chance to play on Wednesday. What percentage could he be by the time we play? So you would think we could get them on the boards, but it feels like a team that could easily go for 70, 80 points and hit a bunch of threes. And right now, how many threes is KU hitting every game? Me and Bri, we texted about that. They're 6 for 41 from three their last two games, 14%.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at their roster right now, and I had a tweet that someone said, if you think Samford's terrifying, just Google Akor. I think his name is Achor, and his last name is also Achor.
Sure.
He's a 6'9" small forward, averages 16 points a game, 6 rebounds, 1.5 assists, shoots 60% from the field and shoots 45% from three on about 2 attempts per game. So if you're starting to seek out, guys that could become characters of March, the guy that everyone's talking about after they pull off the upset, this guy fits that mold quite well. But as Colton just said in the comments, that if you stick Kevin McCullough on him and Kevin McCullough's playing his, healthy basketball, which who knows, you got to feel good about that matchup there. But I
kind of want to look at them more because I wonder. I'm seeing they start a 5'8" guy, they start a 6'6", they start a 6'5".
5'8".
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he's their tallest guy. So who do you stick on him? Who does Hunter guard? Who does KJ guard? Yeah, they got to. I mean,
well, we could just roll small ball again from Wednesday night. That looked really good.
But yeah, he shoots 1.8 threes a game, so I don't think he's shooting a ton. But yeah, they got a guy shooting 42% from three, a guy that is putting up 3.5 threes a game that's shooting 47. They got a guy shooting 38, 36, 39, 41.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the 5'8" guy is shooting 41%. He starts,
he's not
but he
getting
only
the shot off.
But he only plays 18 minutes a game. So yeah, I guess matchup wise, that's kind of tough because yeah, you can say stick Kevin on him, but first off, Kevin's a little banged up. Second off, that's their tallest player. But can Hunter get out and guard him?
Yeah, I mean, so who's this Marshall guy? Sorry to interrupt, but they've got another forward, Jermaine Marshall. He's a 6'6" starter, averages 10 a game and 5. Like, I almost think he's going to be the guy Hunter's stuck on, which this may be really pointless for us to try and do this right now. We should probably just do a pod later in the week where we actually
I agree.
Look at these guys. But it is interesting to see that they've got a 5'8" guy. I got to think DeJuan can handle that. Now, also 5'8" guys are just kind of terrifying because
he averages He averages 4 points a game. So he started every game, but he only plays like 18 minutes. And yeah, he's average like he just had 0 points in the championship game. So he's not really diamond to people either. But yeah, dude, this says 5'8", 140 pounds on ESPN.
It's Calvin Cambridge out there, baby.
Yeah, so 34 games, 34 starts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at the other 13 seeds. Like, who could we have gotten where we were like, oh, like, I feel like there's always a way you can talk. Like, College Charleston would have terrified me.
Yeah.
They're super fast. They've got that, what's his name, Pat Kelsey, super charismatic coach that everybody loves. He's like the next big name in coaching, I think. So he would have been scary. I don't know. Obviously,
Lenardi had Duquesne as a 13. They were 86 team on KenPom. Charleston was, another one was Yale. They were the 84th overall team on KenPom.
Had us in trouble back in December. So, and then Vermont, Kyle Coffey pointed out, I think everyone was kind of scared of the Vermont matchup. So, if we're scared of 13 seeds, this is life as a 4 seed. This is just what you have to,
Can I just ask if people are more scared of Charleston and Vermont because we've seen them in the tournament pretty consistently? Like, is that really where this is all coming? Vermont makes it every year, I feel like. Charleston has been in it quite a bit recently. Like, is that the big sticking point? And Samford's just new, so we don't really know as much about him. I haven't watched him play against the big boys yet.
Big league boys?
The big league boys.
I don't know. I don't know much about Vermont. I think there's more to it than that.
Probably.
But that could be Yale. I mean, Yale obviously played us tight. I don't see anything. I'm not going to spend time researching Vermont, though.
Yeah, it looks like McNeese has a lot of shooters as well. They got 3 starters that are shooting over 40% from 3. A guy shooting 5 a game. That's at 45. Actually, 4 starters over 40% from 3. So, yeah, I mean, Gonzaga, I feel like, is never really known to play defense. They're 46th overall on KenPom defensively. I don't even want to know what we're at, but I feel like our fans are probably
22.
I think we could have got any 13 in the field, and our fans would have been a little nervous. I mean, just the way we're playing right now, we're banged up. So,
yeah, so from an overall standpoint, I'm pretty sure this is McNeese State. I'm seeing it on Corvic here. It's McNeese State, so I don't know. Maybe they're in the middle of rebranding. But I think overall, big picture, yes, we can get down to the nitty-gritty and we can say they shoot threes, they're fast, but they're Samford. They lost by 1 billion points to Purdue. They lost to VCU. Like, they're not good. So if this team has any if we think this Kansas team can put together a run of any sort and start to play a little better, you just got to believe that we can win that game. So now what I want to really think about is like the bigger picture here. If we get past them, we get a Gonzaga team, which, yes, stands out. But then you've got Purdue there as the 1 seed. You've got Tennessee as the 2 seed. Tennessee's struggling as of late. We've already beat Tennessee. Purdue is Purdue. So AB, from a big picture standpoint of this bracket, I feel like we got to feel pretty good, right? I think you've already said you feel good.
I do. And I'm just looking through the region right now. There's not one team I feel confident in making a run to go to a Final Four of the 17, I guess, 18, because we got 2 play-ins in our region. Not one of them makes me think, oh, yeah, they're going to get hot. They're going to go in a Final Four, like, without a doubt. Like, I'd love to see the line. I'm sure Purdue's going to be a pretty heavy favorite to get out of it just because of the computer numbers and everything. But do they scare you? And it's not
Absolutely not.
Like, I know I don't remember exactly, so don't quote me on this. I think Purdue handled Michigan last year multiple times. But just being able to somewhat match size with Edie, I feel like is half the battle. And we can do that if we get there. But I'm not convinced they get out of the first weekend. Like, would you be shocked if Utah State knocked off Purdue or TCU got out? They almost did it a couple of years ago with Arizona. Like, it feels pretty open. And you guys know my feelings on this KU team. I'm not exactly high on them. I don't exactly think that they're this lock of a Final Four team. I didn't think they had any chance before the brackets. Now that I see a bracket, I see a path. Like, I don't know what to say.
No, I agree.
Now, I did say there was a path in the Big 12 as a 6 seed, and we lost by 25. But
we didn't have our players.
There was a path. Hold on,
time
out. So we can make fun of small ball not working, but now when it comes to just us losing in general, it's because players were out.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, but the point was small ball was an utter disaster.
The small ball was an utter disaster because the 2 best players on the team were not playing. And if you do that with any team in America,
but those two guys won't be on the floor next year in your argument. So, and I know Nick Timberlake won't be either, but we can't do this.
Neither will Marco J.
I mean, if you let me talk about that game on Wednesday, I will have an aneurysm. But I'd have to obviously dive a little deeper just from looking at percentages. That 4-team pod that we're in, it seems like it's 3 pretty good outside shooting teams, which worries me because KU's hitting. They're lucky to hit 3 threes in a game. Like, the way the game's transformed, people are obviously launching jumpers. Like, there's probably going to be a team. If we do get to the second round, I would take my chances on KU having at least one bad shooting night, right? Just the way we're shooting it. I'm not saying we will, and there's probably going to be a team that hits 5-10 more threes than we do. And that's terrifying because not trying to do math here, but that's how many more points?
Oh, depends. 30 if you 10 threes more.
5 more.
15.
Wow. I'm just saying, like,
gentle sweets.
And I know we didn't have a ton of shooters against who the hell did we even play on Wednesday? Cincinnati. We had everyone against Houston, and I know they're great defensively, but we were 3 for 21 again. So we just haven't been shooting it well for a while. Bill said something about hitting 6 or 7 threes in a game, and I went back and they hadn't hit more than 6 since January, which is just nuts. Like,
the thing that scares me is, like, that obviously is a big part of it, but it's also, let's say Samford struggles to make threes against us and we win that game. Well, then we've got to hope that another good shooting team also struggles to hit threes against us. So to get that 2 games in a row is pretty scary. Or here's an idea. We could guard the 3. We could stop, try to make it hard for teams to score. But I don't think that's going to really happen overnight. We've known that Bill is willing to live and die by the 3. And I have a bad feeling that if this team loses early, it's going to be because we absolutely were killed by the 3. So,
looking at the Midwest region as a whole, how trendy of a pick is Creighton to the Final Four going to be? I just feel like people won't buy into Tennessee because they're boring. They just play defense. They can't really score. I'm not saying they're bad, but people think Purdue chokes, and they don't think, they know Purdue chokes in the tournament. And I mean, maybe Gonzaga.
It really is. I think Gonzaga could be the big pick. It's a bracket that could go bananas, which is what you want when
I could see a McNeese.
Yeah, I mean,
South Carolina, I feel like they're hit or miss, really. Did you guys, I guess, AB, you pay attention to seeding a lot. Did you have any issues with any teams that were seeded Like, did you think any team was off a couple lines?
Uh,
I know I was looking before, and Lenardi had FAU playing in the
That
10
was
10
my
playing
big
game.
one. Yeah.
And then
Boise was last 4 in.
who was another
Right.
one I
Who?
tweeted about?
Boise State. And I thought
Yeah.
they were a potential like 6 seed.
Boise and FAU were both like 7-8 seeds in today's bracketologies, and both playing on Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever the schedule looks like. And then, but yeah, FAU, that was the one I first noticed. Sparty getting a 9, a little bit crazy, but it is what it is.
You
I
know,
just- I
they
don't
just
pay
dream of
attention
that
much.
Sparty North Carolina second round match. It feels like Michigan State always has a Duke or a Kentucky or a Carolina
KU.
or a Kansas in their
Yeah,
path. Like
17.
it's So
Is this the first time? Maybe not in a while. I guess it happened in 22, but I feel like, and maybe it's just me looking at bracketology or being burned from last year. I feel like we always have at least 2 other blue bloods in our region, and we don't this year.
Yeah. Our region is not like, from a micro standpoint, our pot of 4, I think, kind of scares me.
Yes.
But you zoom
It
out
does.
and you're looking down and you're like, okay. Because you got to think, if we make the Sweet 16, we're now feeling good. We have momentum.
Absolutely.
We feel like we found something. And then you're sitting there, yeah, you might be playing. We probably need to give Purdue a little more respect. They're still really good.
For sure.
They have the National Player of the Year that's also 7'9". So, but if you're telling me we get to the Sweet 16 and we're just looking at a Purdue, Tennessee to potentially get to the Final Four, or even a Purdue, Creighton, or like, that's way better than looking at UConn or Auburn. I want to talk about that region some more here in a bit.
I
but
do
like,
too. I have a lot to say about UConn.
Or Illinois.
Yeah,
I don't know that.
Well, here's
I
the
had
other
a
thing
pretty
too.
bad
It's
take on
not
that
even
region.
just we're just gonna.
I got
Also, like, not even brand wise with the teams, but the coaches. All the coaches in this region are looked at as chokers, whether it's Painter, whether it's Rick Barnes, whether it's Mark Few. They're all teams that can't get over the hump to get to that Final Four, to get to the national championship. It's full of it.
AB's back on the squad.
Imagine Rick Barnes and Painter just staring at each other in Elite Eight, being like, "No, you blow it. No,
Won't
you
happen.
blow it." Like, they're just gonna refuse to win.
Be very entertaining to watch. But KU haters would say the same about Bill Self, even though we know that's just a joke. But
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
would.
far and away the best coach in the region. I don't think that's really debatable. Tournament success wise, at least, right? Or experience.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. At the end of the
would-
day, do I actually think it's going to happen? Maybe not, but there is a path, and I will get confident, and then I will hop on this pod a week from tonight, and we're going to talk about how off we were about getting excited for the 4 in the Midwest just to get blown out by Gonzaga.
I'm going to say this right now, and I don't really care, but I don't see us getting to the Sweet 16 in this pot of 4. I feel like we would have to be really good offensively in at least one of the games, and I don't know if I trust that right now. I mean, I'm not crazy worried about Samford. I know they got a bunch of shooters and they play quick, but whoever they play in that second round game is going to be super. I think McNeese is what? 60. They're 60th on KenPom, 51 offense, 84 D. Gonzaga's not like crazy deep though, but I feel like making the Sweet 16 is going to be very tough. But that's kind of why I just brought this up, because if we do get to the Sweet 16, I want to hear the things us 3 are saying on that episode before we play, whoever we play, because we talked about it all year. Get to the Sweet 16. Now we have the 1 seed that we probably wanted. Maybe I'm disrespecting Purdue instead of UNC, but we weren't going to get Houston. I absolutely would not want UConn. UNC has a damn good point guard. I think they would kill us on the boards. So, yeah, I would take Purdue. So you got Bill with a bunch of time to prepare for Purdue. If we do get to the Sweet 16, it's only lost 2 Sweet 16 games, and it was the choke against Michigan, and then honestly Michigan State too. So he's been electric in the Sweet 16. And then at the bottom of the region, obviously Creighton is damn good, but it takes a lot to get to the Elite Eight. Why are we doing this? But who would scare you at the bottom of the region there? Like Creighton,
Akron.
yeah, they have some damn good players.
I hear LeBron's going to play for Akron this week.
You can make a case for a lot of teams to make the Final Four in this region, I think.
I'm going to throw out a take here. what if I just say the person going to the Final Four, the team going to the Final Four is coming out of our group, our pot, our foursome there. Us, Gonzaga, or hey, McNeese State makes a little run. I really like
their issue with
Gonzaga.
Samford.
There's too much hype for McNeese State right now, boys. We got to cool it a little bit. They're still a 12 seed just because they're coached by a former Power 5 coach. I'm sorry. Yes, they're scary, but let's not
30
act like
wins.
McNeese State is fucking Kentucky that we have to play in the second round or something. Like, I
Well,
agree.
I think we're going to play Gonzaga. I think McNeese State, I agree with you, AB.
But it's not even just us here. It's like the selection show, the week leading up. It's like, I get it. But again, I've said this before. How often is the Cinderella team that's getting all this buzz, this actual Cinderella, to go on a run? How often does that happen?
No, I agree.
It really
I think
does.
we're going to play Gonzaga. I want to make that clear. So I guess what I should say is I could be when I go and I fill out my bracket, I could be very sold on Gonzaga being the team that comes out of this region. Now, with that said, I could be very sold on if KU can beat Gonzaga, then why not Kansas to the Final Four? Because at that point, you will have, again, maybe started to find something. But it just depends. If we get the team we've seen the last few weeks, we're toast.
I wonder what the all-time percentages are on the 4 and the 5 winning their first round game in the same region. Just because 12s beat 5s all the time.
Yeah.
So
and 13s have been hot, haven't they, AB? Furman, who Samford beat Virginia last year.
Another thing to remember is the seeding is so weird this year with all the bid stealers this past week and bubble teams getting kicked out. I feel like the 12-13 line is usually what the 13-14-15 line is. They just got bumped up because there were worse conference champions than them. Like the play-in games are 10 seeds because there's so many auto bids that stink. Like, I don't know. Is Samford typically a 14 seed instead of a 13 seed? I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I was going to say,
what was Penn when we played them in the first round a few years ago?
16.
Right. Well, I meant like
Penn in.
Ken Palm wise were they like the same that Samford is now? I want to say they were within the top 100.
Are you saying? What are you saying about Samford? Like analytically, are they a 13?
No, I don't know about analytically, but like
Nardi and Palm had them as 12s right before.
Yeah, I'm just like normally I think 12 seeds are the ones playing in Dayton on Tuesday and Wednesday, or 11 seeds. It kind of depends on the year with the auto bids and everything, but there were just so many bad auto bid teams that won and forced their way into the tournament that these teams just get a bump up and they're a lesser 13 seed, a lesser 12 seed than they normally are. Not that that means anything for this upcoming week, but
no offense, Kyle Coffey, but wow, bold picks,
legend.
No, but
also, Mr. Jerry Palm had Utah State as a 5.
Yeah, so did my
guy.
They
were an 8.
Yeah,
they were an 8.
Jonathan
Reinhardt might have been on something about us being a 6. There's a couple teams that are 2 seed lines off.
6 seed Hawks, baby.
I guess I don't know if you guys have all the games in front of you, but was there any games that popped up to you, like maybe just as a good matchup, or you were just like
Charleston, Alabama,
they're going to beat the shit out of them?
Charleston, Alabama, hammer the over. I don't care what it is. I'm taking it.
I've got a worst game of the first round if you guys want to hear that.
It's Virginia against whoever, right?
Sure.
I could see our game going over.
The one I was thinking was BYU Duquesne, and 0 interest in that one. 0% interest in that one.
Also, AB, was Kentucky considered a 3 seed?
That's okay. We should talk about this. How is their resume better than ours?
They were a 4. I thought they were like a. I just remember seeing them towards the top of each region, so I didn't think they were a 3, and then they lost in the SEC tournament.
They were definitely on the 4 line. They were behind us, I think, on Lenardi. They lost to Mississippi State, I think.
What do you think? That interested me in the South region was if Kentucky and Houston met in the Elite 8, what would that game look like? You have a high-powered offense that can just score 80, 90 points, but you have the best defense ever who just scored 12 points yesterday.
I really don't know what would happen in that matchup. I mean, you think that's going to – I think Houston's –
that's my favorite region.
Yeah.
Just because you have Duke, Kentucky, and then obviously Houston's going to be very trendy. I think Marquette could be – I don't know if Kolek's even healthy or what's going on.
I got Florida over Marquette second round. Call me Seth Davis.
But obviously, plenty of people will have they'll pick Duke or Kentucky to the Final Four. I would assume James Madison people are really high on. Also with Florida, I didn't know, but did they lost someone for the year this morning?
Oh, it was
Oh my
bad.
God, dude, it was Kevin Ware.
Yeah, it was bad.
I had fucking like 3 conference tournament futures, and all of them made the championship and lost. I had Florida at like 18-1 and was loving it, and then Colorado last night at like both lost. Just hurts.
Yeah, I had Kentucky, so that one went well.
Did Colorado get in tonight?
Yep.
Okay.
Final Four. They're in a play-in game.
That's right.
Against Boise.
That's right.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Let's just go around. I think the East, I think we would agree, is the biggest wagon of I don't know. I mean,
I don't know what I was tweeting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was questioning a lot of things.
Cooked. I'm getting cooked.
Because I think Auburn, I hate that they're playing UConn because I think in any other region, I would have picked Auburn to the Final Four. I'm like a Torvik over KenPom guy. I love my guy Bart Torvik. I think it's just because he's named Bart. But Auburn's the 4th best team in the country, according to Torvik. 5th.
And they're
5th.
Aren't they 4th or 5th on KenPom?
Yeah, or are they? Oh,
I'm
wow.
pretty sure. Yeah, so that region has Iowa State 5. Yeah, they're 4th, according to KenPom. 4th best defense too. Iowa State 5, Illinois 10, UConn 1. So 4 top 10 teams according to KenPom. And then you have BYU too.
UConn basically got the region we got last year. And
UConn got the region they got last year.
Well, yeah, but UConn was the one that was underseeded last year. And now they got to play an Auburn team that I think you could have talked me into saying they should have been a 2 seed. Like, I don't know. I don't know what. Yeah, go ahead.
UConn ain't getting out of the first weekend.
You love this. You love this scenario, but UConn,
who do you have winning? 8-9 game.
Boo Booey.
1-point favorite. I just looked. I thought FAU would be favored, maybe, just because
FAU. They're one of the most fraudulent teams in college basketball.
I hate that team.
Every Sunday afternoon, getting on ESPN.com, and I look at the top 25 scoreboard, and they're in a battle against a fucking bum team from the American.
If FAU didn't make the Final Four last year, they are not in this tournament. I'm very convinced of it.
And they should have lost to Memphis in the first round last year. People forget, but they will always hold a special place in my heart for keeping the Kansas State basketball Wildcats out of the Final Four.
I have a great question, and you might love it because you love this. Can you really picture Northwestern beating the UConn Huskies?
Yeah.
No.
Really? How come? Northwestern?
They beat Purdue. They did. They beat Purdue this year.
Listen,
where at?
I watched.
So did Samford.
I watched like every second of UConn basketball this weekend. They are so good.
Okay, well, I'll skip to this while we're talking about UConn.
Is a dog.
Do you guys think UConn's an absolute stone cold lock to win the national championship this year?
See, I've been thinking about that lately.
No,
I just wanted. I have a follow up on this. I just want a yes or no. No.
I don't. But to think that Northwestern's beating them, like it's not happening.
This is a completely different point.
Yeah,
you guys are both saying no, that you think UConn is a lock to win the championship.
I don't think they're a lock.
Okay, cool. Because they are minus money to go to the Final Four right now. And we always this is just bringing up my 2020 point.
What are the Hawks?
That I don't think that.
Oh, you really trapped us into that one.
I
that
really
dirty.
It's been on my mind all week, and I didn't want to send it in a text because A, I probably only get one of you to respond, and B, it's just one more response from me, and the conversation's over. I'm not blaming it. I'm the worst texter of the three of us. I get it, but I just wanted to say that minus money Final Four odds doesn't mean a national championship. That's all I wanted to do. And this was before the bracket got released. I don't even know if there are Final Four odds out right now.
Breaking news. Winning a national championship in a 68-team bracket is hard.
Thank you.
Thank you, AB.
Yeah.
We all know that, but it's still fun to just pretend we would have sleptwalked
to a national Where are you seeing Final Four odds?
They're not out now. This was before the bracket.
It probably got worse. I still don't know why I tweeted that, but I immediately was just seeing Iowa State as there too. God, man, I really do respect Iowa State fans and the Kansas City thing. I just swear they're not good. I don't know what it is.
What they did
Saturday, I don't think they have this. Yeah, it was. And I guess I was going to ask that too after AB asked about UConn. I wasn't crazy sure on Houston, and then I was like, oh my God, they're a wagon. No one is touching them in KC this weekend. And then they scored 30 points yesterday. So it's like, where are you guys at with Houston? Because I was saying like there's no way anyone can blow them out. They're too good defensively. They're too tough. And then Iowa State just pumped.
Their offense like that. I walked into this weekend thinking what Houston did to us, and then seeing them play those first 2 games in the Big 12 tournament, I was like, I have a future on Houston to win the national title. I feel really good about Houston winning the national title. But then you watch that game Saturday, and it's like, you're telling me this team's going to win 6 straight games and not play like that at some point? Like, their offense is just so suspect at times. Now, I don't know. So let's just talk about Houston real quick, and then we can jump back to the UConn thing.
Why did you say it that way?
Suspect.
I don't know. Suspect.
Respect.
Yep.
But who's beating? I mean, is Duke the team that's beating Houston? I think Houston bullies Duke in a Sweet 16 game.
Isn't Wisconsin decent analytically, maybe? Even though,
yeah, they're 17th.
Because that's kind of an interesting pod to me too. Because everyone's high on James Madison. Wisconsin, obviously, they won the Big Ten tournament, right?
No, they lost Illinois.
Oh yeah, Illini.
They looked good.
Yeah,
but like
they beat Purdue, I guess.
Is the teams that have beat Houston this year? So it's us, Iowa State twice, and then TCU. So like to me, well, I don't know. Our offense was a freaking wagon that game, but I'm trying to think of the recipe that you need to beat Houston. Is it electric offense, or is it match their physicality and keep it low scoring and also happen to make a bunch of shots?
I know, because dude, Shed and Cryer were so bad yesterday.
Yeah,
so it's tough. Like I said, I couldn't really envision anyone just dominating them like that. But I feel like we've kind of said all year, like Houston is always suspect to putting up a stinker just because they play slow, obviously. They got 2 good guards, but outside of them, I don't know. I wasn't very high on them, but then it's like they're so tough and they force tough shots. And when they miss, they get the board. So it felt like they'd be in every game, but now I'm kind of torn. But when you have guard play, and obviously Shed, Big 12 Player of the Year, Cryer has been hooping for a long time at the D1 level. So I don't know. They feel kind of like a lock to me to get to the Elite Eight.
Yeah,
I
don't know. Nebraska has that one dude. He's electric. I really would love to see him just start draining shots against Houston. AB, do you have any strong, like if you look at Houston's region, who stands out as the team that could beat Houston?
I don't know, because it's all teams that I've been like talking down on. Like I don't think Kentucky's doing anything. I don't know that Marquette's doing anything with the Collet question marks. I always shy away from teams that get hot in their conference tournament and expect to go on a big run like Florida. So I don't know if that's happening. Like,
to me, if Kentucky, and correct me if you disagree, but like if Kentucky was going to make a run, they needed to be in either our region or they needed to be in the West, where you have Arizona, North Carolina, who also aren't going to be like great defensive teams.
Mm-hmm.
But Kentucky getting a Houston draw to me doesn't seem like a good fit. But I don't know. It's also not a good offense on Houston. So I don't know. Sorry, I interrupted you. You can keep
I didn't have much else to add because
UNC 6th
maybe it's
on KenPom.
Maybe it's just
which is
basketball
wild.
As a whole this year. There ain't one team that I can envision going to a Final Four, and there's got to be 4 of them.
It's wild.
Nobody in the Final Four.
But like I'm just looking through it all right now. It's like I don't know. I mean, I guess I'd probably pick Houston, and I probably will in my bracket. But do I feel comfortable with that? Absolutely not.
So tell me one.
It's tough to put 1 seeds in the Final Four too. Like it always feels chalky.
Tell me the one reason you don't have UConn to a Final Four, other than history saying that repeat national titles don't make Final Fours.
Ryan, that's all I need, baby. That's all I need. It has been 17 years since the defending champion has gone further than the Sweet 16.
But this
17.
team,
I don't
this
hate.
team is better than last year's UConn team.
I do not hate Auburn or Illinois to get to the Final Four out of the East.
I agree. I know I sound crazy. I'm like going nuts over UConn, but I think Auburn could. I think that's worst case scenario for UConn in a Sweet 16 game.
Rye, I have a trivia question for you that you'll probably know.
Can I
Hear it.
give a guess?
Yeah, you too.
Okay, thanks.
When is the last time Iowa State played in an Elite Eight game?
Didn't they make a decent run in 2021 or 2022? Maybe they lost in the Sweet 16.
They were with us. They were with us in Chicago. They lost to Miami.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Last time they played an Elite
And
Eight game.
Hoiberg had some really good teams.
It's got to be the Tinsley Marcus Fizer team. So I'm going to say 2000.
That was my guess, too.
Great answer. That's what it is. Guess how many Elite Eight games they've played in?
4.
3.
It's wild because Hoiberg had so many good teams. They
I love it.
I'd hammer that 2,000 to win 1,000. 1944 and 2000. That was just wild to me because
1944.
Yeah, it was just wild. So I don't.
Good news is that we're still 32 years away from their next Elite Eight at that pace. So.
That just feels tough, like a tough region for Iowa State. And I'm pretty positive Palm had them as a 1 going into today. Some people had them as a 1. And then someone on CBS brought up a good point was that UConn was the number 1 overall. So why did Iowa State get why were they the 2?
You can't feel bad for Iowa State. Their strength of schedule non-con's a joke. But
I want to talk about that principle.
Yeah.
So, sure. But when comparing it to North Carolina, I guess North Carolina's a little different. But does it matter? How do I want to word this? I guess what I'm trying to say is, does North Carolina not get penalized for having a poor conference strength of schedule?
I thought of that too.
And I know some teams do because we've seen it with Gonzaga or Houston where they get underseeded in the Wichita State where they get underseeded because they don't play in a good conference. But I know the ACC's got a name. They got what, 4 teams in? With Clemson, Virginia sneaking?
Virginia,
5.
North Carolina,
NC State.
Where's NC State at on this bracket? 11
Texas
seed against Tech. I love that NC State
DJ
team.
Burns.
Yeah.
He's a wagon. Dimes to people. What do you guys – I was thinking about BYU a lot at the Big 12 tournament because I feel like that's a team that can get hot and they're good analytically, but obviously the bottom of that bracket is just wild. So I don't – I was just thinking like an Iowa State BYU Sweet 16 would kind of be wild.
Well, it'd be a really fun second-round matchup. AB, you tweeted this out or texted this maybe. Drake and Iowa State in Omaha. Now, Iowa State's going to have a ton of crowd too, but they all just spent their money in Kansas City, so who knows? Is Drake going to show up and have a good crowd there? They've got one of the best scorers in the country. Their coach is the hottest name in the sport at times as the next big guy. That's a scary matchup if I'm Iowa State, but classic situation here where everyone's going to talk about Drake and then Washington State's going to quietly make a Sweet 16 run here. So either way, I think Iowa State, to B-Turn's point about their struggles making runs, I'm not sold on Iowa State making a Sweet 16.
I'm not either. I think they could lose to absolutely anyone. Otzelberger is a great coach. They're really tough. They defend. So I feel like they could almost beat anyone, but I almost feel like they could get smoked by anyone too, because they could have just a rough night offensively. So yeah, I totally agree. I'm not big on them, and I feel like the Kansas City thing is going to have like bettors or people filling out brackets like hyped about them because they beat almighty Houston and they beat a good Baylor team. Like it was a great run, but they are just completely different in Kansas City, and it's credit to their fans. Like we know it going into every year, they're going to take over that arena and power and light. So it's great, but you know what I'm saying? Like they'll be the trendy pick, like Iowa that one year, AB.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to ask. AB, do you see any early candidates that fit the Iowa criteria that everyone's saying, oh, I like them over this 1 seed or them over this 2 seed that could lose very early? Like, who is that this year?
On like the
is-
3 through 6 line kind of.
Yeah, like the Iowa, or I think in the past, who else has it been? You've made comments on this before.
Last year, I think I said UConn, and that fired off really hot.
Yeah.
Honestly, you guys want a real answer? Auburn.
What was the question?
Other
I don't
examples
know.
of this.
Yeah.
Like teams that got hot the last, and that's the other thing too. Like, I don't know how you guys have been watching college basketball as a whole this year. I haven't watched a whole lot coming into conference tournament weekend, and I feel like so many opinions are formed based on 3 to 4 days of college basketball. And there are teams, Auburn's probably one of them, where the whole season they were great. Auburn was trendy to win the national championship as of a couple months ago. Like, it's not the only thing that happens, but I do think there's opportunity to fade some of these teams. Florida's another one. They got hot. They lost today or today, whenever
They lost today.
Yeah.
today. Florida's another one. I bet they lose to whoever their 10 is coming out of the play-in. And there was another
Florida,
one that
Sweet 16.
I can't think of the other one. I'm looking for it now. I'm sorry.
The thing that I think about with Auburn is just guard play. Their 2 leading scorers are bigs, and we always talk about March and how guard play. It's all about guard play. They got a 6'7" guard that's averaging 10 points a game, but other than that, it's everyone's averaging less than 10 a game. But I guess analytically, they're really good defensively. I don't really look at teams. Yeah. Hot breaking news. I just don't look at like wagons defensively for the tournament ever. I just kind of look for teams that can get hot and have really good guard plays. So I like Auburn. They're good analytically, but I just feel like UConn would handle them. But obviously teams have bad days in the tournament.
So you want to hear, oh my God, my guy Bart Torvik, I don't know if this is his fault or my Wi-Fi's fault, but his website's moving historically slow. So
you know who's working just fine right
yeah,
now?
it's a tough scene for Bart. Yeah, it's a tough scene. I think his servers are not up to this much traffic.
Any crazy takes, like crazy upsets, like really high seeds losing?
I'm just going to speak it into existence. Michigan State to the Final Four. January, February is though.
No.
But like first round, like 2 against a 15, or like why couldn't it?
We're getting spicy, aren't we?
Dude,
I haven't
St.
looked
John's
into
got screwed, by the way.
What happened?
Why? They beat
St.
one
John's
tournament
a top
team.
25 team in Ken Palm and Torvik.
That's not the
They're
only
not
thing
in?
you looked at.
I don't
Yeah.
care.
They beat one tournament team this year.
Like, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but couldn't you see like a Tennessee or an Iowa State losing on a really bad day just because they struggle to score sometimes? They could score like 50 points. The other team randomly gets hot, like Zeke Mayo and South Dakota State. I'm not saying it'll happen, but it's been happening pretty damn more frequent lately. Future Jayhawk next year.
Yeah, hopefully. We've been saying that for 5 years. Let's hope we finally.
Has me blocked on Twitter.
Nice. What'd you do?
Not sure. He's not a Chiefs fan, so maybe the Chiefs tweets. But I don't know if we can take him if he's gonna have me blocked. That's just kind of fucked. But I don't know. Right. I sound crazy, but I just feel like this stuff's been happening way more frequently. Like the 1s and 2s have been losing more. A 16 hadn't won, and then now what? 2 16s have won since Virginia and Purdue.
Yeah.
I feel like 15s kind of win more recently. St. Peter's is back as a 15 seed. I hear they're gonna face Purdue in the Elite Eight in the Midwest.
I hope so.
It's so brutal they didn't make them the 16 in Purdue's one game.
I wanted it so bad.
Why does Colgate stand out to me? Has Colgate beat Baylor before in the tournament? Like, why do I look at the 3-14 Colgate Baylor and I'm like, Colgate's beating Baylor? I don't know why I have that game sticking out to me, but something about it.
And Baylor has their bad nights too. Like, they have really good guards with Ray J. Dennis and Jacoby Walter, but they struggle too obviously Misi's like a high regarded prospect. They have nights where they just stink.
Yeah.
And I feel like Baylor's been, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but there's been multiple times they've got upset in the first round, right? Wasn't
Oh yeah.
wasn't RJ
Yeah.
Hunter the one that hit the 3 against them?
Yeah, they were. He was. So that's not what I'm thinking of. Who the hell did
And then
they
what's his
beat?
name?
Tennessee.
Oh, they
Tennessee.
beat Tennessee. Okay.
Who was the dude for Baylor that was like describing a rebound to the media?
That was Torian Prince or whatever. Yeah, he's like, so you go up with 2 hands, you grab the ball, and you come down with it, and they got more than those than we did. So that's how Yale out rebounded us. Yeah, Yale. Yeah,
It was Yale?
Yale beat Baylor too. So Baylor's lost twice
At
in
least.
the first round as a 4 and a 3. Iowa State's lost as a 4, I think, here in the last 5 to 7 years. Well, I say 5 years, and I feel like I'm talking about 2016, but the fact that 5 years ago was 2019 is
it was in this
It's
pause
like-
era. I picked out my big upset. It's Western Kentucky over Marquette.
I love that.
See, I have a weird feeling of 15's beating a 2.
It's happened 4 years in a row, 3 years in a row,
Are
3.
you serious?
Dude, I love South
Uh,
Dakota State though.
Oral
No,
Roberts
that-
beat Ohio State, and St. Peter's beat Kentucky, and who did it last?
Princeton beat Arizona.
and Mizzou.
Well,
job.
hopefully us 3 agree on national title picks again this year because
Oh,
whoever it is, they're going to lose in the first round.
Why did we all pick Arizona to win the national title last year?
because I bet on them in the Maui Invitational to win the national championship and talked you guys into it throughout the whole season.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
You're
So
welcome.
I think what we should do, I would love to do this episode. I don't even care if anybody watches. Nobody has to. I just want to talk ball with the boys. I think later in the week, before Tuesday, so maybe tomorrow, or we could do it Tuesday or Wednesday, I want to do a full bracket breakdown where we make our official picks. But
Yes.
right
You gotta
now,
get some early ones off, right?
Yale
I want to do some like
against
spur-
Baylor.
12-5.
Yeah, okay. I want to do some like quick takes, like a Seth Davis writing people into the Sweet 16 without even thinking. Because I'm really struggling with a Final Four. AB, your point about you can't picture any of these teams going to the Final Four. I'm running into an issue because the 2 teams that I told myself I'm picking no matter what are UConn and Auburn. And now they're playing against each other. So now,
What's
I don't know.
your obsession with Auburn? Well, I just want to know what makes you love them so much. Obviously, they're great analytically.
I think they've kind of been like quietly under the radar a little bit. I think Kentucky and Tennessee have gotten so much talk in the SEC, where Auburn has just slowly gotten a little more hot, a little better. They're really athletic. They're fun. They're high energy. They just seem like a team that they get hot, they could absolutely make a run. They remind me a little bit of UConn last year, just from that having dudes, having athletes. Yeah, they just feel like a team that could. But yeah, Bruce Pearl is a question mark. But they did play in a national title game 5 years ago and came very close to winning it.
Did they?
I heard they lost in the semi to Virginia.
Tough.
And then Mahomes was crushing. We talked about this Kyle guy foul for an hour.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought that was the national title. Sorry, I forgot Chris
dude.
Beard took Texas Tech to a national title game. I can't get over
They
that.
should have won. Virginia just hit every clutch shot that whole tournament. But yeah, it looks, I mean, Auburn's playing like 10 deep. Literally, like they're playing 10 guys solid minutes every game. They just have athletes.
So yeah, I mean, AB, your point about Auburn's a good one because would it shock anybody if San Diego State goes in and bully balls Auburn and they make the Sweet 16 against UConn? So I don't know.
National championship rematch in the Sweet 16.
Oh, PU!
Can't believe we had the Final Four we got last. We're owed an elite Final Four this year, in my mind.
No one's made in the Elite Eight last year, right?
Last year was terrible, man. And I swear to you, that's because Chris Reynolds. That was the worst bracket ever presented in the history of the sport. 100%.
Yeah.
I guess it's tough to really project, but do you guys think like the top heavy teams are like far and away better than, or can you see like a jumbled Final Four again? I know that's so hard to predict, but
dude, Torvik's site is literally down. This guy. But Hey, B turn, to answer your question, I think we're going to get chaos again. I don't think we're going to see chalk, but I also don't know how to predict chaos. That's what sucks about it. Filling out a bracket is last year nobody could have possibly predicted any of what happened.
No. The one region we really haven't talked about, I think, is going to be the most unpredictable one, and I can't even pick like a winner off the top of my head is the West.
Yeah, I know that one's tough. I kind of think Arizona.
Here we go again.
I know. It's their uniforms, man. I get tricked into it because they look really cool.
When was the last time they went to a Final Four?
Could a St. Mary's beat UNC?
01, yeah, or 02. No,
were they in 05? Were they in the one with? No, they lost Illinois in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, no, it is 01. They lost to Duke in the national title game.
I don't know if I hate AB's Michigan State pick, because that region is just wild. Bama, I just don't think they have enough, and I don't think they defend. Obviously, I love UNC. I could see St. Mary's. Baylor, I don't see it.
Clemson has no chance. I'll say Clemson 0.
When I saw their name pop up, I'm like, Clemson's in the tournament.
Yeah.
I haven't heard a single thing about Clemson.
Here's the thing, Ryan. That's who you had above KU when we talked last time on the pod, hopping us for a 4 seed.
Dude, I said if they announced that Dickinson and McCuller were out for the year, you jerks. Okay, moving on.
Final Four predictions?
Yes, but never mind. I can't get this site to work. Anyways, yeah. So, oh man.
Let's all start out in the top. We'll just go region by region. Maybe an Elite Eight matchup and who wins it.
God, that's
Ryan?
so tough.
I'm going to go. We'll see what I say at our next pod, but I'm going to go Auburn, Illinois, Elite Eight there.
Well, hold on. You're out on UConn now.
Yeah, I told you Auburn and UConn are my two teams. I love them, but I'm getting tricked into your brain stuff. Me and you both love to do this, where it's like, well, yeah, they're the clear best team, but history says they'll screw up.
Mm-hmm.
I just think there's a little mix there of Auburn being really good, and I really like Auburn. I think they can match UConn's athleticism and quickness. I don't know. We'll see what I say later this week because I love watching UConn play basketball. So, but I'm gonna go
start the UConn pod next year.
Yeah. I do like Illinois there at the bottom.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Auburn, Illinois, Elite Eight there. I'm gonna have Auburn going to the Final Four. Do you guys we'll let you guys go there before we move to the next one.
I'll go UConn, Illinois. Illinois just feels weird. Shannon's on a mission, though. I'll take UConn to the Final Four. God, that feels. I know.
It's a good pick. No, it's a good. They're going to make the Final Four.
They're going.
It's a wagon.
They're so good.
Okay. I'll take Auburn versus BYU.
I like that.
Illinois 93rd in the country on KenPom defense. We know how that goes. You know how I feel about that. But I did think long and hard. Honestly, when you guys both went Illinois in the Elite Eight, I had to change it up a little bit. So I'll go Auburn over BYU, I guess. But again,
is there any chance Iowa State kind of sneaky lingers and makes an Elite Eight? Like we all are sitting here saying, "Oh, Iowa State can't," but are we really that convinced? Their run to the Elite Eight is that hard? I'm not sure. I know we've said Drake could be dangerous. We said South Dakota State could be dangerous, but if I'm an Iowa State fan, I'm probably feeling decent about our 3 seed being Illinois. I know they just got hot, but I don't know. I don't really trust Illinois.
No, I don't trust anyone, man. That's why I'm excited for this tournament. They're not one team I trust.
So you have Auburn, BYU, and you've got Auburn to the 4?
Yeah, I guess so.
Wow.
I don't love it, but I guess so.
Okay. Let's go to the region that I think I'm going to have to just go. Well, I'm going Houston to the Elite Eight for sure. Man, dude.
Up towards the top, who could you see messing with Houston? Like,
I
if
don't
there was
know
one team.
enough. I don't know enough about Texas A&M, but do they have like dudes? Like, are they really
Yeah.
physical? I feel like it's going to have to be a really physical team like that. Nebraska just doesn't seem like a team that could do it to Houston unless you just getting hot from three is always a possibility. But I don't see Houston losing to one of those two teams. I'm going to go Houston to the Elite Eight, and I'm going to go.
Well, I'm saying like even the 5 and the 4, like even below that, like before the Elite Eight, who do you think is the best team up top besides Houston?
Probably Duke, but God, they've looked bad these last two games.
Yeah, I'm not in on them.
I can't believe they turned their replies off on their final score tweet the other night.
Unreal.
Dorks, man.
They're unreal. Okay, I'm going to go Houston and Florida, Elite Eight. But I really wanted to pick NC State to the Elite Eight.
DJ. I know. I think I don't know what that spread is.
Oh, but God, man. Are we sure Kentucky's not just going to make this Elite Eight?
That's going to be mine.
Yeah.
That's only because of my gambling. I
have a future on Kentucky to make a Final Four. You have them to win the national title like 25 times.
I know they don't play defense. I just have said all year they have the ability to get extremely hot. They've showed that. They've beaten a lot of good teams. So, honestly, I just took a 1 seed. So, I can't pick Houston again. I'd go Kentucky over Houston.
I think I'm going Houston, Kentucky, Elite Eight, but I am going to say Houston wins that game.
Also, do you guys know anything about Tyler Kolek? Didn't play in the Big East tournament.
I think he'll be ready.
I feel like we never pick Marquette and people don't because of Shaka. But, man, when they obviously in Maui, they were cooking Cam Jones, Kolek, Iguodaro. They're pretty physical. They have a 6th defender on the floor at all times.
Shaka. Yeah, I won't pick Shaka. That guy stinks. AB, you taking Duke?
No, I hate this region so much now that I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
I guess I'll take Houston and go to the Final Four. I have no idea who the fuck they're going to play in the Elite Eight, though. Honestly.
I think it's going to be Kentucky, unfortunately.
That's my gut, too. But, man, I've been talking down on them all year.
Texas Tech? Bob Isaac's show?
No. I wanted – if we would have popped up as that 3 seed, I would have talked myself into many a Final Four runs in that one.
But here's the thing. Kentucky cannot guard. They just gave up 97 points to Texas A&M. Texas Tech, I know this is hard to wrap our heads around, but they're pretty good offensively.
Who?
Is there any way Texas Tech gives Kentucky problems?
What's going on with Darian Williams for Tech?
No idea.
He got hurt, didn't play in the next game against Houston. That's the dude that went off against us that had 30, didn't miss a shot. I think they would struggle to score without him.
Yeah, well, that could be a problem.
Mike, who was the Florida guy who got hurt for them?
Some 7-footer. I mean, he's a starter, but he's not one of their like stars, I don't think.
Yeah, because I love Florida's team.
What's Bill saying about McCullough? People are tweeting about or putting in the chat.
What'd they say?
I don't know. They're just saying not feeling great about Bill's comments on McCullough.
Hunt's doing great. He's actually practiced the last 2 days. Says he doesn't know as much about McCullough's health as Dickinson's. Hopefully McCullough can go tomorrow.
What in the world is wrong?
Complete opposite of what was being said.
That makes sense to me, though.
Haven't seen Kevin McCullough Jr. do anything. Game plan for him was seeing how much he can do Monday.
Okay, well, I guess
that's why I can't talk myself into a run right now.
No, that's annoying.
We have the personnel, I think. We've talked about it all year, the starting 5. I have no clue, first off, how healthy they're going to be and how effective they're going to be. So that is what has me worried. And obviously, we talked about Furphy, how we didn't have crazy high hopes for him. He probably shouldn't be in these situations. But I feel like going into that Cincinnati game, like him and DeJuan, that's a game where those two should get out of their shell and just get some shots up, get comfortable. No one in that arena and no one watching the game is going to be mad if you shoot. Your team was 2 for 97 from 3 at one point. Furphy had 2 points. Like, I know he was probably getting a lot of attention, but you're highly regarded as a first-round pick, and you get 2 points against a Cincinnati team who played the day before. He's struggling to get open, first off, and he is not knocking down jumpers, period. So that's what worries me is those two, I would guess they're both not 100%. I mean, we play in 4 days. I think we're Thursday, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's got to be fair to say neither are going to be 100%, right?
I don't know. I can't stay. Even if McCullers not healthy, I hate that we're not just – I really would have wished Bill would have been like, yeah, the fellas are ready to go. Like, let's go. I don't know. That's killing my vibe already right there. And I haven't even read the full quotes yet. But I don't love that we're just like, yeah, we don't really know about McCuller. He played multiple games in the last couple weeks. I don't understand. Now, he wasn't good, but okay. Self, here's a quote. I think we can make a run. I still think we can play great basketball. I think we will. I think a chance to reset, get focused, get more healthy will go a long ways for how we play going forward. That's pretty normal coach talk, I would say. Hunt's doing great. Practice the last 2 days, non-contact. So we've done all the dry stuff, but he'll do contact tomorrow. Kevin, I haven't seen yet. You might have already read this, B-Turn. I haven't seen yet, but the plan all along was start practicing him on Monday. If he can't go tomorrow, we'll practice him Tuesday. So, okay, maybe that's not a huge deal.
But it felt like the opposite. The other night he said like Hunt wasn't going to be – he wouldn't – there's no way he would have been able to play in the Big 12 tournament.
Yeah, but he also said right after that he was like very confident he'll be good to go on Monday though. Hunter.
I just thought he had sounded more optimistic about Kev, but maybe I'm wrong.
I just think like
he said he doesn't know what's going on. One of his star players, he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah,
Bill
but
Self.
I mean, he's been saying that for 6 weeks, no?
Yeah, I don't know.
See,
I mean, it's not ideal, and I'm not confident to say that McCuller is going to be like completely healthy and ready to go come Thursday, but I don't know that that's much of a change of a tone than how it has been recently.
Florida Atlantic favored, by the way, now against Northwestern.
They'll be sorry.
1.5. Auburn 12.5 against Yale. Oh my God! Did you see the total for Charleston and Bama, Rye?
Oh no! What is it?
Take a guess.
Oh gosh, 152.
163.
One what?
69.5.
Oh my God, dude. That's gonna be tough to bet the over on, but I'm gonna do it.
It's an 86-84 game script.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
All right, did we all have Houston? This is the longest Final Four prediction of all time.
Oh yeah, sorry. Houston, Final Four. I got Houston over Kentucky and the Elite Eight. I think who'd you pick as your other Elite Eight team, maybe?
To be determined.
Oh.
I'll dive into the lab.
I hear they are a wagon.
No, they are. It's whoever wins the bubble game. Who plays in that one? Boise, Colorado. Okay, yeah, I'll take Houston over Colorado.
Okay. Now we get to our region, the Midwest. I'm gonna say.
I don't even want to fill out a bracket this year, boys. I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna flip a coin.
God, dude, the fact that we have to pick between basically Purdue, Tennessee, and I guess maybe Creighton as the team. I don't know. Like, I have a hard rule that I refuse to pick Tennessee to another Final Four. God, I hate to think. Are we sure Purdue's not just going to do it?
Wait, when did Tennessee make the Final Four?
No, like they never do. That's my point. I always fall for it. Those Schofield teams, the Grant Williams teams, I always fell for it. I think I even fell for it last year.
Springer and yeah.
So I don't know. I'm gonna go Gonzaga over Creighton in the Elite Eight. I'm taking the Zags to the Final Four. I actually kind of like that.
Sure.
I was gonna do Gonzaga too, but I'm gonna take Purdue to the Elite Eight. I know that's probably a mistake. Purdue versus Creighton. I got Creighton in the Final Four.
My only worry is, can you picture it? Creighton goes to back-to-back Final Fours.
Creighton didn't make the Final Four last year. AB.
Did they not?
You just pulled a me. They lost to San Diego State.
I thought that was a Final Four game.
No, it was Elite Eight.
Who did San Diego State play in the final? FAU? Oh, yeah. Duh. Miami. Okay. My bad.
And then it was Miami and UConn.
That changes my view on this region here.
Some would say Creighton's knocking on the door.
Yeah,
that's tough, baby.
One step at a time, baby. They're almost there. They lose a heartbreaker in 2022 in the second round. They lose a heartbreaker in the Elite Eight. They're just due to come through. So I'll take Creighton over Kansas in the Elite Eight.
Love it. Wow. The fact that you're getting us to the Elite Eight and then not picking us to win is...
Well, you know how Bill Self goes, right?
Yeah,
true.
Twitter.
But I think he's going to lose 91-67 to Gonzaga in the second round. So.
That would track with how it has been as a 3 and 4 seed recently. So people forget we only lost to Auburn by 14.
I turned it off when we were down 32.
I turned it off with 16 minutes left to go in the game. Went to Hooters.
That was crazy. Do you remember the first 10 minutes of that game?
Oh, it was so funny.
It was as much I've ever seen KU get punched in the mouth right out of the gate. Like they were playing a different game.
And it was like immediately after the Villanova lost the year before.
Yeah.
Well, it was the crazy run in the second half too, where we literally scored every possession.
Oh yeah, we came out cooking.
Like it was insane. We scored like 20 points in 4 minutes, and they were just doing the same thing. But wait, did we just finish Midwest?
Yeah.
The West is awful.
It's awful.
Well, it's no good.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do what I always do.
Oh, boy. I don't know where you're going with this.
Nate Oates.
Arizona. Tommy Lloyd. I'm picking Arizona over North Carolina, Elite Eight. We'll go chalk there, which I don't love. I like Grand Canyon to the Sweet 16, though. Can you picture it? Is Hubert Davis going to 2 of 3 Final Fours in his first 3 years? I don't see it. I'm still not impressed with him as a coach. This is the first year he's actually had a good regular season. Like, think back, he was a 9 seed his first year. He did make the tournament last year. This year they've been good. So, I mean, they've got guys that have been there, but I think Arizona's under the radar. Last year they were the trendy pick. This year I think they're kind of the quiet pick nobody's talking about. I love our guy, Tommy Lloyd.
You do.
Future Kansas head coach. So I'll go Arizona over North Carolina Elite Eight.
Does Caleb Love carry a team to the Final Four again?
God, I forgot. But think of the storyline: Caleb Love versus North Carolina Elite Eight. I like that.
Dude, I hate this region. It's so bad.
All right, I'll throw mine out there with the Michigan State Spartans beating the Baylor. I'm gonna have
the Baylor
Green Elite Eight. The Baylor Bears.
Oh, Michigan State really could beat North Carolina, couldn't they?
Oh yeah.
Preseason top 5, Michigan State.
Sneaky.
The bottom is terrible too. Honestly,
you know what?
I'm gonna be a psycho here, and I'm going New Mexico to the Elite Eight from the bottom.
Hey.
And the North Carolina Tar Heels up top, and I'll take UNC to the Final Four.
Braden, picture it, right?
2 1 seeds.
Okay, that's not bad.
But we gotta dive into the bracket and the teams, and we'll do predictions later this week. But just look.
I'm gutted that I can't pick Auburn and UConn to the Final Four. This is really throwing off everything.
What's the Final Four for everybody then? I had Auburn, Michigan State, Houston, and Creighton.
Yeah.
Yikes. Hate it.
I have Auburn, Houston, Gonzaga, Arizona. That will not be my Final Four come Wednesday. I'll tell you that.
I got too many blue bloods, man.
Blue blood B-turn. That's what they call you.
That's what I heard too.
UConn, Kentucky, Creighton, and North Carolina. 2 1 seeds and 2 3 seeds. No way that happens, but
Oh, man.
I don't mind like a sneaky Florida run. I don't mind like a sneaky St. Mary's. Gross, but upperclassmen.
I think St. Mary's, Grand Canyon, the winner of that game is going to the Sweet 16. I don't know how those teams match up with North Carolina, but I don't know. I'm not sold on North Carolina.
Yeah, I know. I just feel like everyone on that team is weird besides RJ Davis, obviously. Like Harrison Ingram's pretty good, but it just depends on the night. Baycott, solid, get boards. They have some shooters, but
yeah, it's a weird bracket because I think would you guys agree that if like Kentucky was in this bracket, we'd be picking Kentucky probably a little more? You wouldn't?
Yeah.
You're so out on their defense, AB.
So out.
I'd pick Kentucky.
I would probably pick Kentucky out of that region. I'd probably pick Kentucky out of our region. So I think Kentucky, I really want to see Kentucky-Houston Elite Eight because I think that would be a really fun matchup from best defense to best offense. Well, not best offense, but can be the best offense when Kentucky's cooking. Let's talk about, can Kentucky possibly lose in the first round?
Oh, yeah. You could lose to anyone.
I mean,
would Calipari get fired if they did?
How do they get out of his contract is my only concern.
I know, and I think Kentucky's NIL is about to get really good, and he's starting to cook a little bit on recruiting again. What is that?
Looking at Oakland right now, Ken Palm has it at 12. Oakland plays slow on offense. If they can control the tempo at all, maybe it's interesting. I don't know that I see it happening.
What are they defensively?
They weirdly force people to play fast when they're on defense, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but not great. Middle of the pack, like 165.
Oh, yeah, they're fucked. I don't mind Florida. Oh, I forget about Colorado, but I hate doing that because the play-in games, like I can't pick.
Play-in game winner makes the Sweet 16 every year. That was just out like 3 years ago. I don't know if it's still the same thing. But
man, God, the South just feels so favorable to Houston, dude, because Marquette has questions with Kolek. Kentucky, they can score, but Houston, I feel like could slow them down. I don't trust anyone at the top because I'm not very in on Duke.
And, like, if we're talking can you picture it, dumb brain analysis, AB, tell me you can't picture Jamal Shedd and Kelvin Sampson. Like, that is such an obvious storyline of, like, Kelvin Sampson gets over the hump, wins a national title, Jamal Shedd, senior leader. It's the Ochai Agbaji effect, guy that came back on a mission after getting upset in the Sweet 16. Like, Houston fits the mold as a can you picture it on the podium type team. Who is your can you picture it team?
Ryan, I mean this wholeheartedly. I don't have one. I I know that someone is going to win the championship that's in this bracket.
Purdue?
I can't picture a single no.
Yeah, but Purdue could follow the script of Virginia, man.
That's again. So
here's
the problem that I'm having right now with that argument is that when you were asking me earlier, give me any reason other than history as to why you don't think UConn can go to the Final Four. And then, first of all, you didn't pick UConn to go to the Final Four. But second of all, now you're using this look at the history. Virginia did it. Purdue can do it. You have to picture them.
Yeah, but it's like a mindset thing. Like, Purdue's got to be so locked in.
Right.
I don't know.
Do you think they're more locked in, or do you think they're more like, fuck, we better not do this again?
I just kind of think, well, yeah, it's definitely a mental thing, but I think that's the thing. Once you get over the hump, you win that first round game, I think you almost feel like a mix of like Purdue is kind of also becoming the villain, but also the team nobody's taking serious because Edey gets the biggest joke of a whistle. Now, I think that's going to go against Purdue. Dude. I think the reason they are going to lose likely is because he's not going to get this whistle all March. But, Purdue's not winning it all. Those guards aren't winning it all. I've just talked myself out of it in the middle of trying to argue it happening.
Can you not picture Max Asmus and Rodney Terry holding up the trophy?
Could we say Gonzaga? Because This is probably the year that they're slept on. They're still good metric.
Who's the
Metric
guy
wise.
holding the trophy with few though?
Yeah, that's pretty
Nemhard?
tough. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
he's not. I don't know. It's just they haven't won one. No one's really going to be picking them because they're a 5. A lot of years they're picked. I feel like. Could you picture Kentucky? I don't know who their guy would be. Reeves.
Dude, their defense is just. I'm with AB. Like I think they can make a run, but I don't think you can win 6 games in a row with that defense.
That's the thing. Like, there's just so little margin of error when you have an aspect of the game that's so bad.
Yeah.
To expect it not to bite you in the ass, it only has to happen, 17% of the time? If it just happens once out of 6 games that they play, and then it's over, it's dead, gone. Bye, Charlie. Bye, Charlie. Just gone.
Honestly, if Kolek is healthy, I can picture Marquette. Like I can picture salty.
No. You think Marquette ain't beating Houston in an Elite 8 game?
I felt like Marquette was pretty physical, at least when they played us, but they've been
That's
inconsistent.
true.
I'm just trying to think of any team. I mean, Bruce Pearl, but they don't really have like a stud. I know you guys like to picture like good players. Michigan State, Tyson Walker.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think they're making that deep of a run. I think they could beat Michigan or beat North Carolina.
Actually, I can picture Arizona. I can picture Caleb Love and Tommy Lloyd lose to 15 last year. Arizona hasn't been to a Final Four since 2000 or 2001.
Brian and I talked about this like 20 minutes ago.
Who did?
Us on these airwaves with you right there.
I don't remember that because I've been thinking about it the whole time.
Oh man!
Can you guys not picture Kyle Filipowski and John Shire?
Yes, I can. I have a future to win it all.
Disgusting.
Because they are. Yes, it's such a like John Shire on the podium. Like Kyle's been through so much with the court storm, and the things people have said about this young man, for him to be resilient and come out, and the tripping. I'm so proud. Like, tell me that's not a possibility. B-turn. I can picture that.
Could be a possibility after they beat Vermont, though.
UConn three-peating.
I am getting very close to saying that, B-turn, which I know bold, number 1 overall seed, but
I guess
it feels very.
We picked our Final Fours. Who's your champs?
As of now, I'm going Houston because I left UConn out of my Final Four.
Oh, God.
Like, I kind of have a feeling it's going to be utter chaos, kind of like 2021, where it was chaos, but then it was just Gonzaga, Baylor heading towards each other in the national title game. I kind of think that could be what we see. We see like UConn, Houston, and then a 7 seed and a 9 seed in the Final Four. Like, that's
Texas and Michigan State, baby.
You guys want to hear something wild, actually? I love this. I finally got old Bart Torvik's website to work.
Hell yeah.
So if you go look at Kentucky and teams that have a similar efficiency profile to them, I've done this before. The average NCAA tournament wins that teams with similar profiles as Kentucky is less than 1.8. They almost all lose in the round of 32, the round of 64, round of 68. They only have not one team with a similar efficiency as Kentucky has made an Elite 8 in the last, 15 years, 16 years?
I'm starting to get very frustrated with you, Ryan.
Round of 68.
Because you keep bringing up history while trashing me for using history as my point.
Well, but this is using efficiency based on how they play. Saying that UConn can't make make the second weekend because national champs don't, that doesn't play into how UConn actually plays. That's my point. Now, my Purdue thing, you're right. But this is just based on a team that plays this bad defensively. Never have they made since 2008 an Elite 8. And offensively, it takes their whole efficiency as a whole, but we know why they're dragging.
Purdue's not a top 20 defense, by the way.
Really?
Well, neither were the Kansas Jayhawks, were they?
Going into the tournament now.
Yeah. So interesting enough, KU's efficiency numbers.
Oh, brother.
The average tournament wins for them. Oh my God, Bart.
5.5.
No, good Lord. Oh, you were joking. Okay.
The team with this team sheet wins the national championship every other year and loses as the runner-up every all the other ones.
I mean, dude, if we make the Sweet 16, I really am probably going to say we're going to the Final Four in this region.
But why are we so convinced we'll beat Purdue if we get to them in this? I love how we're like Sanford. My God. And then we see Purdue and we're like, oh, yeah.
I'm not convinced that we'll beat Purdue. I'm convinced that we'll beat Danny Sprinkle and Utah State.
Danny.
Okay, so, oh my God. Never mind. Keep going. Keep talking about
I thought you had it.
I did.
Well, no. Speaking of, is Rico Bosco allowed on the program anymore after becoming a diehard Kansas State fan? And
well, he might be covering the NIT, but if he's down to talk, the NCAA tournament, we could have him on. That's for sure.
Text off.
Okay.
On the show.
I've got the average wins. Kansas, similar efficiency numbers. The teams they match up closest to are 2013 Kansas, Sweet 16. 2012 Kansas, lost in the national title game. 2019 OU, I don't remember that team. They lost in the round of 32.
Yeah, they beat Rhode Island in the first round, lost to a 1 seed in the second.
2009 Purdue lost in the Sweet 16, so that would have been like a Hummel team, I believe. No, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But some interesting ones. 2008 Louisville made an Elite Eight. Kansas 2023. Kansas 2019. Gonzaga 2008 lost in the first round. Indiana 2022 lost in the first round. So, but the overall average wins is 1.7 compared to Kentucky's, who was 0.5. I can't believe that Kentucky number. Kentucky's toast.
Burnt
toast. Let's see. You guys curious about any other ones? I'll get them buffering on Bart to read off here in 20 minutes.
Samford and McNeese.
Samford has. I've already looked at Samford. They have like most of the teams with Samford similar profiles don't make the tournament.
Oh, darn!
From what I was looking at, and they have never won a game. I don't believe. So good.
Makes me feel good.
McNeese was. I don't know. It's harder with those teams because they're.
Yeah.
Let's look real quick. I think Purdue's looks pretty brutal too. But we're buffering, so we're gonna have to talk in between me.
Be on here all night long.
Looking up these. This is how podcasts would have been in like 97 on dial-up. Just being like, all right, let's move on to the next part of the bracket.
Can you imagine 3-year-old us doing a podcast?
Man.
I would have 1,000% been better at this podcast in 2008 in like middle school than I am now. I knew everything about college basketball. Every roster, every recruit, every assistant coach. It was
life, babe.
It was. So Purdue, they averaged their similar efficiency numbers, averaged 2.5 wins in the tournament. But they also matched Kentucky 2012, which seems weird. But that's the only national champ they have that they are similar to. And then they also matched 2019 Michigan State, which wasn't a very good team, but they made a run, right? Oh, wait, no. That was a good Michigan State team that beat Zion.
19? Yeah, they went to
yeah. But the rest of them, it's like a lot of Sweet 16 losses, 32 loss, 2010 Kansas is a fit.
Hey.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Have we got tip times yet?
No.
Let's make a prediction for tip time for KU. I'm going to go with 12:40 p.m. on Thursday.
Are we a Thursday
Saturday
pod?
Yep.
Thursday pod.
Who else is with us? Obviously Gonzaga, but what's the other pod?
Like who plays on Thursday?
No, who else plays in Salt Lake? Yeah.
Oh.
It's BartTorvik.com, by the way. AJ, but it's lagging very behind. Who else is in Salt Lake? This is really good podcast here. Oh, are we serious? This bracket I just pulled up doesn't show the pods. That should be illegal.
I got it.
Okay.
Close to it. Dayton, Nevada, Arizona, Long Beach.
So who's going to be the prime time? Like, who's going to get the good slot? Like Thursday, 7 or 8, or 6 or 8.
Gonzaga, McNeese. The problem is every other team hosting, like the higher seed, they're all West Coast teams. So I feel like they'll want them later, and we're going to get stuck with the first game of the day in Salt Lake.
I feel like we always get first or last. Haven't we been last a couple? 2022, we were last of the first round.
Last year we were first. 2021, I don't remember. 2019, we were first or second.
2021, we were, dude, I don't remember that game at all. I think that was middle of the day, like a 2:30 or weird time.
Sounds right.
Man, I don't know. We got anything else we want to dive into before we take some time, gather our thoughts, and we'll come back here in a day or two and have all sorts of different opinions.
Any fantasy baseball sleepers? I'm doing my draft tomorrow.
I'm leaving if we talk.
How I guess how are we feeling about Furf and Juan? And I guess KJ is coming off a big night, but he was our only scorer. So how nervous are you about Furf? Like, do you see him being really an impact scorer in the tournament?
I think McCuller being back will help him. I think it's tough for him when teams know that. I mean, think about Cincinnati on Wednesday. They didn't have to worry about anybody but Furphy. Anybody. So I think Furphy's due. Like, you can't say he's not. He's got to start making something. DeJuan has not made a 3, and I think we're getting close to a month. So it feels like this team. I think this team's going to go down in horrible fashion because DeJuan and Furphy just don't get it figured out, and you lose, and you say, "Well, of course that's what happened." Or you could see if a little bit of a jolt, find a way to win these first 2 games, and then all of a sudden it feels like brand new life. But I know it's what we say every year when we're a 4 or 3 seed. But I don't know. I think Furphy will figure it out. I don't know. Juan is what he is. I was pretty disappointed in DeJuan's performance on Wednesday against Cincinnati because it was like,
my thing with DeJuan is, like, obviously he's not going to look as good when he's got that much on his plate. Like, he's never going to be a scorer. He was the number 2 option the other night. Like, it just
but
it looked like he was consistently trying to do too much, and it fucked him over. All of his turnovers when he was trying to, go in a little bit deeper, like make a pass that wasn't completely there. Like, it just looked like he was trying to do too much, and that just, to me, seems to be what happened. Now, I'm not saying that's the only reason why he struggled. There's been other times he struggled this year, but can I say one other thing about Wednesday?
Yeah.
Why do KU fans hate KJ Adams so much? Specifically after Wednesday.
I don't think they do. I just they don't want them to play together.
It's just like you saying people hate Hunter Dickinson.
Time out.
Well, kind of.
Time out. This was on Wednesday night. People were saying this stuff. He was the only player on the court doing fucking anything. The only one that cared to be out there. 9 of 14 from the field, 22 points. And people are like, "Oh, well, he only had 4 fucking rebounds. Get him off my team. He's not good enough." It's like, it just really bothered me. It really did. And like, I don't know. I just had to defend my guy because, like, again, we don't have to get into the whole discussion again. I think if one of the 3 that we've talked about ad nauseum the last month had to leave, I still think that fit-wise, him leaving would be the best choice. I love the guy. He's always going to give it all. And, like, it's not his fault. And he was the only one that played well on Wednesday in my mind. It really frustrated me that there was the reaction that there was on Twitter about KJ Adams that night.
I don't get how anyone could even say a word about him. Like, there's really no reason for him to get brought up. It's not like the rebounding differential is the reason we lost. We were down 2 with 13 minutes left, lost by 20. We were 3 for 20 from 3, 2 of those threes came from bench players.
One of them came from Patrick Cassidy.
Mm.
Johnny Furphy, since he went 3 of 5 on the road at OU from 3 is 1 of 6, 2 of 9, 2 of 10, 4 of 17, 4 of 20. So he's 4 of 20 basically in the last
20%
month. So, and if you just break that down, yeah, I mean,
that's my issue with Kev too. Is Kev could be a little more healthy. When's the last time Kev has been effective from the field? So if he's banged up and he's still, I'm just worried about having like a go-to scorer. Like, maybe Hunter Dickinson could be a guy that is effective against them because they don't have a ton of height. But if Sanford comes out hitting threes and KU has to catch up and start knocking down jumpers, what are we going to do? I can't believe we don't have a fucking guy that can knock down a 3-pointer. It's unfucking.
Dude.
If I have to talk about Timberlake too, I might.
No, I just want to
dude.
say this because I think it's the funniest thing of all time. Nick Timberlake holds the school record for most 3-pointers made at a Division I basketball program. I can't believe that, dude. Like that, you have to be so good at shooting to do that.
And no one in the history of the game has missed more like momentum changing threes than him this year. He has to be 0 for 62. When he's wide open in the corner,
they weren't like really momentum. Those games.
You know what I'm saying, though? There's been so many where like Allen Fieldhouse is going to burn down. Clank.
Yeah.
He
had one in the corner.
A guy like Devontae was the guy that always made those. Like when you felt Fieldhouse was about to fall down, Devontae would make him.
Yeah.
He don't do that.
Wednesday was just really frustrating because I thought we'd lose, but at one point Cincy was like 29% from the floor. They scored 2 points in the first 8 minutes of the second half. So it's like if they play that bad, I expect for it to be a game and be in it. If you lose by 20, I don't care who's sitting or not. Like it was a 2 or 3 point spread, wasn't it?
I think that's what I was so annoyed by is Cincinnati did not play good. And maybe I think Bill was probably fine with us losing that game, but it just felt like it felt like this team has quit. I don't know if that's true. Maybe it was more of just like hey, let's reset, let's get rest. And so in a way they did quit on the Big 12 tournament. Just felt like there is nobody out there, kind of like AB said. It felt like KJ was the only guy with a little bit of dog in him that day. And we're going to need a lot of dogs to make a run. And it just feels like we don't have one right now.
Can I bring up 2 points? One has to do with this like Timberlake conversation. The other one is completely random and separate. Actually, they kind of tie together.
Food?
No, but I just lost the first one. Okay, well then I'll go with this one first. Can we move the transfer portal back? I'm tired of getting on Twitter and like looking at Joe Lenardi brings out his like bracket projections. And then all of a sudden the next tweet's from like Tipton saying Arkansas Pine Bluff 6'4" guard that shot 50% from 3 has been talked to by these 27 schools. Like
and now everybody's
begging. Wait 4 weeks.
They're turning down the NIT, like teams like Indiana and stuff are not 9:55 tip.
Tip times.
Wow. Out
9:55.
Zach Nelson. And is that Zach? Are you Midwest? Is that Central Time? I would assume
8:55 Central.
Oh, 8:55 Central.
TBS.
First game of the tournament on Thursday. Any guesses?
Gonzaga, McNeese.
Michigan State, Mississippi State.
Ooh, first half under.
we got to do a pod about. Actually, our pod needs to be. We need to do a bracket breakdown, but then we also need to make gambling picks because
How confident do you guys? I guess it's so hard to predict, but how confident you guys feel that both Dickinson and McCullough are effective on Thursday? Like I could absolutely see one of them playing like shit or being 70-80%. I'm almost nervous that maybe Kev just doesn't even play or he barely plays like he did against Houston. I know that was a blowout. but I'm
He's dead to me if he doesn't play.
just, man, I know Juan isn't going to score. I don't see Furphy being crazy effective. Who's going to score from outside?
We're going to beat Sanford, I think.
Oh, brother, you guys want some confidence to get knocked down a peg?
I thought you were saying good confidence.
Holy fuck.
Oh, no.
Midwest odds from
Oh,
our
no.
former friends and sponsor of the pod, DraftKings Sportsbook. Purdue plus 165. Tennessee plus 330. Creighton plus 340. Gonzaga plus 650. Texas plus 1800. Kansas.
Shut your mouth.
19-1, boys.
No fucking way.
19-1 to make the Final Four?
Behind Texas? We're behind 7 seed Texas?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm
know
I
just,
think we have to hammer that out of respect.
you boys go ahead.
I'm probably going to just take Purdue.
What
and
are
Creighton.
our odds to win the national title? We're like,
They're 40-1. Which that doesn't
Oh.
math to me.
What's McNeese?
Give me a sec. 100.
so they definitely just think Gonzaga is going to kill us. I mean, not kill us, but like they think Gonzaga is beating us easily.
Yeah, well, I think the issue is
Or
that
Samford.
we're going to be underdogs. Hypothetically, if we play the best team that we could, would be underdogs in the second round, Sweet 16, Elite 8. So
It wouldn't shock me to see like McNeese or Samford in the Sweet 16 or Elite 8. What are the odds on Samford?
Can you imagine?
250.
Yeah, I don't.
Put $1 on it.
Imagine we're sitting here November 1st, preseason number 1 Hawks, and you're telling me we are 19-1 to make a Final Four.
We were
And the bracket's out. The bracket's out, and we're 19-1.
We were like the favorites to open this. Now to make a Final Four, 4 wins.
Will you read me the other odds of the other bracket or the other regions?
Yeah.
Which one?
What are the other 4 seeds? I guess I'm curious on.
Auburn is plus 280. Second in the East.
We're 19-1. They know something, and that's
And
what
Auburn
scares
has
me.
to play UConn. And
Well,
yes,
Auburn's top 5 in analytic websites, which these books love, and we're not top 5.
What's Texas?
well,
I
it's
mean,
just because
Texas odds are similar to ours, but I bet they're probably pretty similar to us. They're 27th, we're 22nd.
Okay, then what's Duke's odds?
The Duke Blue Devils, oh brother,
6-1.
295.
Oh my God.
Vegas knows someone's hurt
You guys want one more?
for us. Like
Alabama.
If they are not
Duke is
over
what?
10-1, if Alabama's less than 10-1, we have problems.
What if they're more than 10-1?
I'll feel a little better.
What if they are 10-1?
I'd feel
Yeah.
like that's about right.
That is right.
I don't mind sprinkling multiple teams in the West.
I don't mind sprinkling 19-1 on the Hawks.
That is fucking nuts.
I was stunned to see this development, boys.
So how many teams in the Midwest are ahead of us on the odds list? Purdue, Gonzaga,
5.
Texas, Creighton,
Creighton,
Tennessee.
This is awful, dude.
This
Oh,
is bad. This is very, very bad.
Honestly, are we just overthinking Purdue to the Final Four out of the Midwest? Because
I've thought that, but dude, they are their guard play can be suspect. I can't say now. I'm in my head about that word. The Edie whistle thing is gonna throw them off. I don't know.
can you read East? Can you read all of East region odds?
Yeah, all 16 of them.
Yep.
Fuck.
Stetson.
Give me 20 seconds. I exited out. I'm pulling her back up.
See if I can get it first.
Keep counting. Nope, it's on me. The East region, my dude. UConn plus 110. They're no longer minus money, which takes away my joke from earlier.
Hammer 'em.
Auburn 280. Iowa State 3-1. Illinois 7-1. BYU 20-1, San Diego State 35, FAU 50, Wazoo 60, Northwestern 60, Drake 90.
So you
No
are
one
reading
else.
the whole region.
Yeah, what'd you want?
Stetson.
Dude,
Bennett,
Stetson. Yeah, the QB.
the fourth, 500-1.
Kentucky is plus 850 to make the Final Four.
Because they don't play defense.
What's Marquette?
550.
Wait, so Duke's what and Kentucky's what?
Duke's 295, Kentucky's 850.
Oh man,
I am devastated.
what's
We're
Florida?
19-1 to make the Final Four.
What's Florida and Colorado?
Florida, Colorado. Which region are they in?
South.
Florida is 17 and Colorado's 100.
Oh, I thought I had value.
What'd you get them at?
50.
Double down, baby.
Guys, we almost
about
have
Baylor?
the same odds as Nebraska to make the Final Four.
Turn it up.
Dude, I'm not
Nebraska's-
watching. I'm not watching a game.
Hey, no one believes in us.
Can we get what I need to hear West region now. I gotta hear these.
Just gonna roll
'Cause
through
I'm-
all of them. The West region, Arizona favored at plus 180.
Wow.
Carolina plus 235. Baylor 6-1. Bama 10. St. Mary's 11. New Mexico 25. Michigan State 25. Nevada 30. Mississippi State 35. Clemson 40.
Baylor.
High on Grant Foster 880.
What was St. Mary's?
11.
Wow. St. Mary's better chance than Kansas.
We should come up with a fun list of teams with a better chance than Kansas.
Are you
Florida.
Dude,
7
that
seed.
means Kevin's out.
Texas. Yeah, I mean, something is. I don't understand. I'm staring at all these other odds. Gonzaga is plus 650, and we are 19-1. And Gonzaga plays a team that they're going to be. What are they favored by against McNeese State?
Like 5, 6.
Yeah. And we're 8-point favorites.
I mean, that just means that they think Gonzaga is. I mean, obviously it's what it means, but like, I don't understand that. How can Gonzaga have that much more favorable of odds than us?
Well, they're going to be favored against us by 3 or 4.
But that moves that line that much?
No, but I mean, you guys aren't wrong. We have injury questions.
Yeah.
I still think they're questions, though. I don't know that
and
it's
then-
a sure thing, but I don't know how you can be confident that either of them being full go is a sure thing either. So
How about Iowa State being 7th on the odds list to win it all?
you guys
Kentucky.
think never mind.
Kentucky 22-1 to win it all. Duke 25. But the Final Four odds are
Yeah, I don't know that these are matching up yet because when I looked earlier, KU was 40 for the title.
they are on here.
So I feel like those
I
will
can't
up.
find Final Four though. Oh, there it is. I just don't even believe it.
Ooh, I've got Houston at plus 600 to win it, and now they are at plus 500.
Cash out, dude. Cash out.
Value.
You already beat them. I can't get over Duke being plus 295 to make the Final Four. That seems insane to me.
That's awful value.
But honestly, but that region, like Kentucky doesn't play defense. Marquette might not have Kolick. So
I don't know. It's crazy. That's oh man. All right. Well,
Great stuff, boys.
I've got Kentucky plus 600 to make the Final Four. What are they now? 800?
850 on DK.
Yikes. And I have Duke to win the whole thing at plus 2,800. And they are
Who knew you
now.
liked Duke.
Dude, I'm telling you, the Filipowski Shire thing is going to happen. Just kidding. They're not winning at all. But
What are the odds? What do you think the odds are Kevin doesn't play Thursday? Like, would you be shocked if he
Yeah.
doesn't?
I would be shocked. And if he doesn't, I'm going to be mad.
Yeah, there's going to be some hot takes on here.
That would be
Say it.
unless I don't know. Like, how can he be good to play the first half against Houston and the week before the senior night against K-State, and then he
Because I
can't
was-
play 2 weeks later on a Thursday?
Dude, I'm telling you, he got hurt again at the end of that K-State game.
But
But
then
yeah, he played
against
at Houston. But then how many minutes did he play? And
The
did he
only
look-
way
did he
Kev
look
doesn't
good?
play is if he just made the decision to shut it down, I think. I mean, obviously, I think we've kind of known that. But that would be the softest move of all time.
So it's not. I think the thing that frustrates me with the conversation around Kevin is it's not like an injury where structurally he needs to get better for 3 weeks and there can be a timetable on it. I'm looking at it more like Jalen Daniels, where if it flares it might be fine on Tuesday, but on Wednesday it flares up and he's not good. So it's just impossible to predict, and it's very frustrating. But I feel like that's not been a part of the conversation. People just he played a game and they expect that he's fine now and he's just healed. It feels like
but I don't think I guess I've always kind of understood it as it's always going to be painful. It's going to suck, but it's not going to get that much worse. Whereas I thought with Jalen's back, it was like you can't mess around.
Yeah, for sure. It's not identical, but there's no strict timetable on the bone bruise or whatever.
If Kevin Hunter were 100% right now, how good would you guys feel about this region? Because we feel good about the region, but how good would you feel about them going on a run? I feel like I would be all in just because this is the
kind of why
one
I'm
seed I
so
want
shocked.
and the 2.
That's why I'm so shocked by these odds. Is I don't think they're going to be 100%, but I also think, from what I've understood, is Dickinson's I don't know. I just don't see him being overly impacted by his injury. I could be an idiot for saying that. And McCullough has still played. I mean, he hasn't shot well, but he's been the Baylor game. He was solid when he played. The OU game, he was solid when he played. K-State, I don't even remember what he did in that game. 19 points, I think.
But he still shot it like shit.
Shot bad, but he's still putting up numbers. So that's where I'm kind of I'm going into this tournament expecting them to both be over 80%. And I think Dickinson close to 100 is how I kind of feel, but maybe I'm way wrong on that.
But that is what's weird is Bill was he was like, there's no chance. I wish I had the full quote, but he's like, there's no chance Hunter could have played tonight. So a week later, is he going to be just
right? But right after that same quote, he said that he was going he fully expected him to be ready on Monday to practice. It was just kind of if he would have played, it would have opened up the window of hurting it more, and it just they needed to give him a week to just cool down for a minute. I walked away from the same conversation that Bill was having as optimistic about Hunter, to be honest.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
When he had it during the Big 12, not tonight or whatever. But
yeah, I mean, who knows?
There's one more thing that we have to talk about before we get out of here, if we want to keep it under 2 hours, and I want to give this man all 6 minutes and 20 seconds that we have left. Rest in peace to Mike Boynton. My hero, my coach, my guy. Feel bad for him, the way he stuck up for his kids, the way he recruited Cade Cunningham, who's in our comments right now. We're just who would have thought that a joke side comment,
Cade Cunningham,
a joke side comment I made on the pod on episode 8 that we ever did of this show in 2019 would gain so much traction to the point that I'm still obsessed with this man.
I don't even remember. Was it you saying he was a good coach? And I was like, I
kind of like
agreed.
him. That's I kind of like him.
Really, all it was someone said Boynton stinks, and I was like, I kind of like the guy. And then it blew up into I'd suck his dick behind an alley if it came to
assholes.
You'd been
6 seed.
You'd been so PG this episode, AB.
If look, if anyone's gonna try and call me out for a comment I made an hour and 55 minutes into the pod, thank you for still listening. I appreciate it.
True. There's no chance anyone's still listening to this.
No, I know one person that will be, and he'll comment on YouTube later and hate on it big time. That's all he does.
So
did you guys answer confidence level on making the Sweet 16?
30%.
Don't they do Sweet 16 odds too?
They'll come out at some point, I'm sure.
I wonder what we would be if Gonzaga's that much lower, I guess, on the list to make the Final Four. Then I'm sure they're going to have better odds to make the Sweet 16.
So we need McNeese State to win badly, is what I'm gathering.
Well, sounds like you guys are horrified of them too.
I'm not even that scared of Gonzaga.
I wasn't either, but now I am because of these odds.
19-1.
And I did pick them to the Final Four, so I'm kind of feeling good about that.
I feel like 12-1 would be kind of wild, but almost 20-1 when they're 40-1 to win it all.
Second worst odds of the Self era, by the way. Can you guys name the only other year we had worse national championship odds going into the tournament?
Probably 06.
Bradley?
Braden?
I was going to guess the Bradley year, but it might be 09.
It could be Bradley. I didn't actually check all of the Self era, to be honest with you. I was comparing 2015, 2019, 2021, and this year. 2019, they were 60-1 to win the championship.
Even though we got Midwest and we're going to get to play in Sprint Center?
Yeah.
Actually, I was going to ask this earlier. How do you guys feel about KU going into this tournament compared to 19?
Better. I feel better about this team because we've shown as a group when playing together, they can beat good teams. That team never did. That team never beat a good team while fully. Like what the team they took into March never had beaten an elite team other than maybe at home. Challenge me on that.
Ryan.
I'm happy to be challenged.
Okay, but what you just said also describes this team.
No, but this team beat Kentucky on a neutral. This team beat Tennessee on a neutral. They beat UConn at home, which that 2019 team did not beat anybody of UConn stature, even with
What about the Red Raiders from Texas Tech that went to a national championship game, came within seconds of winning the national championship, and happened to lose to the Kansas basketball Jayhawks by 16 points that year?
At Allen Fieldhouse?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not UConn level good.
Okay.
You're telling me you don't think we should feel better about this team than 2019's team?
I mean, look, I'm going to sound like a dumbass because I hopped on this pod and said that I feel confident there's a path, but like we are 2 full points on Ken Palm worse than we were in 2019.
I don't think we had a single player you could trust or you were excited about in 2019. Like thinking about our starting lineup, it was Doc, Q, was it Marcus?
You had to hope that Diedrich puts the team on his back.
Diedrich and Dave,
which
right?
I guess you could argue Dickinson, you have to hope him, but I also think you could argue McCullough can put the team on his back.
It's somewhat getting to me that you've compared this team to the 2019 team all year long, and now we're trying to do it. And it's like, there's no way that 2019 would be able to do anything comparable to this team.
No, I'm just saying, like, this team is there's no doubt you could argue with me that I think that this team doesn't have a higher ceiling than 2019.
Fair.
So, like, to me, if I'm talking myself into a run, which it's all about best case scenario, what can each team do? I think best case scenario is Kevin McCullough comes out looking healthy, Dickinson plays great, Furphy starts to make shots, whereas in 2019, what was the best case scenario? Diedrich continues to put up his numbers.
Getting Kansas City.
Yeah.
But okay, let me come back at you at the beating Kentucky and beating Tennessee on neutrals argument, and UConn, for example. None of those teams were healthy when we played them, or full strength when we played them. Kentucky was missing that foreign dude, and weren't they out another big too? UConn was out a starter.
Yeah.
And Tennessee was coming off of playing Purdue 4 hours before they played us.
Well, we were coming off playing Marquette
2 hours before we played it. Yeah.
So, AB,
it's like an AAU
are you sticking with your first round loss prediction, or what?
I thought that's what you were going to say.
No,
I thought you were going to say we're losing first round.
No. I think this team can make a run and will make a run. So again,
you were just shitting on them.
I know what I've done. I know what I've said. I get it. I'm looking at the bracket. if you remember right, the
I
bracket
love
in
it.
2019 was just banana land. It was like last year. We had Carolina if we got by Auburn, who went to the Final Four. Didn't we have Kentucky in that region? And who else was in it? It's Kentucky, Carolina, Auburn.
Oh yeah, because Auburn beat North Carolina and Kansas City, and then beat Kentucky. And Houston was in that region because Kentucky beat Houston.
That was a loaded region, and this region just not that loaded.
God, yeah. I mean, I'm honestly hoping like maybe they're a little banged up. It's probably not possible, but a little banged up Thursday. They played well, and then they feel a little better Saturday somehow. Kevin and Hunter, and then you get that time off. Bill's record in the Sweet 16. I don't know. Like, I don't envision us even making the Sweet 16, but I don't trust the guys out. Our only two scorers are banged up. I don't trust really anyone outside of them to score. I know KJ, yeah, every once in a while, but I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think we're gonna lose Thursday.
Oh my God! Bet money line then.
I will not bet against them.
No, but bet Sanford money line if you think we're gonna lose on Thursday.
I mean, Cole just said it already moved a point or two, I think.
Yeah, we're still 7.5 point favorites. I mean, I think it's possible. I think it's possible, but I don't know to confidently say we will lose. Seems bold.
I think we're gonna lose.
Ryan, when you're on Torvik, do you look at profiles or resumes?
I look at profiles because that's the one that takes their efficiency numbers.
Have we gone through Gonzaga? I have it pulled up.
I think I looked, but I can't remember.
Okay. So 2017 Kansas. That was a fun one.
Oh, I did remember that one.
2018 Gonzaga. 2009 Gonzaga. Good thing they're just comparing them to their fucking selves. 2022 Kentucky. That was a good tournament run. They averaged 1.5 wins in the tournament. So bet the under.
That's what we averaged too. So, yeah. I don't think that's what's so shocking to me about these odds is I am blown away that Gonzaga is viewed as that much more capable of making a run than us.
Oh, I'm starting to get upset because I love this region, and I don't feel great about the old Hawks.
What I want to, I'll throw this out there as a last thing, just because I think this is a funny thought. I was thinking about past run, draws we've gotten in this tournament. I wish we had a podcast back in 2015 when we got 2 seed. Wichita State was our 7. Undefeated Kentucky was our 1. And wow. I mean, who else? Who's our 3? Notre Dame, who was also very good that year. They lost to Kentucky barely in that Elite 8. Imagine us trying to talk ourselves into making a run with that team.
I'd just love to know how Bill got a 2 that year.
Strength of schedule, baby. Iowa State could take some notes.
Just like saying that team just wasn't that great. And Bill's, I mean, this team would have, if we stayed healthy, I feel like they would have at least been like a 3, right? I would love to be like
brutal.
I would love to be where Creighton is.
I know. Did the BYU loss, is that the whole thing that took us from a 3 to a 4?
But we were the last 4, right?
Which is bull butter. That's garbage.
All right, we got to go.
One last thing. If you sort on Torvik starting on February 19th, I just picked that to get to like a month to now. Gonzaga has been the 12th best team in the country. Can you guess what Kansas has been since February 19th?
Oh my God.
32. 32.
I literally was going to say 32. 37.
You guys are both off. Quite a bit off.
16.
Because the Kansas Jayhawks since February 17th are the 50th best team in America.
Oh, I thought you were going to say.
I thought you were going to say better too. Oh no, I thought 32 was being disrespectful.
I'm going to look up since the day we lost to Texas Tech and see if we drop even more, because that was very funny. This is true too. God. Do we see it? How often do we lose 3 in a row? How often is William, Eugene, Self?
I think we have the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, well, we don't need to talk about that. But
maybe not in 2022. 2021 we did, in 2023 we did.
I want to go and look at, we can save some of this for later. I'm sure we're going to have at least one more episode before we tip off.
I'd be pretty amped to make the second weekend.
Agreed.
I think honestly, most 4 seeds probably should, but
Gets worse. Since
Oh,
the
but-
Super Bowl, what do you think we're ranked?
Oh no, worse than 50?
70.
64.
You guys meet in the middle at 66.
Oh no.
We aren't good.
So just to put that into
I want to look at when Kevin got hurt too.
So to put that into perspective, on Ken Palm right now, the 66th best team in America right now is Princeton.
Oh, sure. Can't even make the conference championship game, the Ivy.
Dude, we're so fucked.
19-1 to make Final Four. That's just
Art.
devastating. There's nothing worse than Vegas. Just when Vegas doesn't believe in you, like they don't even see it. They don't even see a route. Vegas, there is no route.
You sound like Bill.
Route.
I want to pull up this comment. I'm picturing Kyle Lyons right now. He watched the first 30 minutes of the show tonight, and he hopped back on YouTube after dinner just to see we're still going. And I'd love to think that he heard us talking about how juiced we were about our region at the beginning of this episode and how we can go on a deep run, and then comes back and joins later just to hear us talking about this is a disaster.
He turned being like, I think we're losing Thursday. I think we're losing.
And he might be right.
I mean, would
He
you
might
guys
be
be
right.
would you guys be absurdly shocked if they lose Thursday?
No. But I think it's just, to me, it's like I would actually put I'd be willing to do a future bet on this of we will win Thursday and we will lose by double digits to Gonzaga. Like that's kind of where I just see this going. If you look at past trends with Bill Self, that's where this is going. With these types of teams that he's had, 2015 blown out to Wichita State, 2019 blown out to Auburn, 2021 blown out to USC. With these teams, he just doesn't make runs, and I think that's where we're going to run into a buzzsaw is Gonzaga. But so yeah, to your point, Peter, and it's not like losing to Samford is some major upset.
I mean, I'm wondering what that spread's going to be by tip. If it's already moving like that and could be injury concerns.
I'm going to make a prediction that it closes at 10.
Wow.
Are you not? Do you think we could just overwhelm them from a height standpoint? But I guess we only have one 7-footer, and then that's it.
I think that as the injury clarity comes more clear, it's repetitive, but assuming McCullough and Dickinson are both playing, I think people will talk themselves into it. It closes at 9 or 10.
Right at this moment, Build has no idea what's going on with Kevin. That's just wild to me.
I think they're both going to play.
But why would he tell us if he did?
Yeah.
He doesn't know what's going on, but he said Hunter's practicing tomorrow.
Yeah, that's where my argument loses steam.
Hey, boys, I like this spin zone.
Thank you, Cade.
People forget.
I love that.
Okay, last thing.
We've said last
We're gonna end on positive vibes
interview.
here. We're gonna end on positive vibes here. How funny was it that K-State fans all day were like, "Hey, we should be in. If you take out these rankings and these rankings, it makes sense." They weren't even in the discussion. They weren't even close to making it, were they?
One iota. No. My favorite thing, and I think Adam Sullivan tweeted it out. I forgot which K-State account tweeted it, but they said, hey, it was like quoting a Joe Lenardi thing yesterday. Like, hey, Colorado takes care of business and FAU takes care of business, and North Carolina takes someone else. That knocks 3 bubble teams down a notch. Just cross your fingers and hope K-State can sneak in. All 3 of those teams lost. All 3.
It was Derek Young. He tweeted
was
that.
It?
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't wrong. That's not even a shot
yeah.
at him. It's just very, very funny. Because, if you looked at it, K-State was the first of the next 4 out, and then the 3 teams highlighted were all playing. If they lost, theoretically, they could get back in it.
It was like last year when we were
very funny how they all happened to lose.
It's like last year when we were just like, if we avoid UConn, Arkansas, and we got them all. Like everything that went wrong.
Baby.
And that's very funny. K-State thought they had a shot to get in, and they just weren't even discussed on the show. Not one time where somebody like, really would have liked to see Kansas State get in here. But yeah. All right, let's wrap it up. You got anything else, B-Turn?
Oh, I don't want to be negative, so I'm just ready for ball. I guess there's some playing games. The playing games are soon. First half under. I guess when are we recording? You guys want to go Tuesday, Wednesday?
I'll go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
I was going to say the same thing, and I almost threw this out here. Hear me out. All right, hear me out. The biggest there's two mistakes college basketball has made as a whole since we grew up. The first of which is not the one that I'm going to talk about. The first of which is taking away Bracket Busters weekend in mid-February, where like Wichita State would play Gonzaga. Yeah. That was the best weekend of the year. Mm-hmm. The second mistake they made was the 24-hour marathon leading into the Champions Classic, where you had like UC Davis, Hawaii playing at 3 a.m. on ESPN2. Yes. I believe that's not a thing anymore. But what I'd like to offer is that like first game tips off at 11:15 a.m. on Thursday morning. Why don't we just hop on YouTube Live right after the first 4 game on Wednesday and just go live all the way for 12 hours until we get to the start of March Madness?
Wow. Not where I thought you were going.
And we can watch all the one shining moments. We can bring in guests. We can play trivia. I might do it myself. You guys don't have to.
That sounds like a blast. I think I'm going to work Thursday morning though.
No, you're not.
I have to. I got big important things.
That went from I think to I have to.
Well, the only reason I'm considering it is because I think I really need to be there.
Yeah, I guess till then, maybe we can come up with some like future bets for the tournament and talk about those on the next episode, or talk about fun first round matchups, crazy seeds we could see going deep.
B-Turn's got to talk himself into us beating Samford.
Just let him sleep on it. It'll be fun. We could do a draft. We could draft March Madness moments.
Love that. All right.
March Madness trivia.
Over under 2.5 threes made by Kansas. Thursday.
Under for the whole tournament, and they still win it all.
2012 vibes. All right, boys. This was fun. Kind of. Vibes are down, but you never know. You never know.
Love our region.
Thank you for listening. Rock Chalk.